So I rewatched The Hills as an adult. The Hills was a spin-off of the MTV series Laguna Beach. The Hills followed Lauren after graduation as she ventured off to LA to experience the world of fashion. The show had 6 seasons with a runtime of 22-ish minutes. The general plotlines were revolved around work, friendship, boys, and nightlife, which is odd because none of the girls were of legal drinking age when the show began. The Hills has arguably the most iconic theme song of all times, Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. Dare I say our national damn anthem. The final season would pull an average of 1.9 in viewership, which is solid for a reality TV show. For those curious as to what inspired a rewatch, The Hills was a staple during my preteen life. The first episode aired May 31st, 2006, meaning I was at the impressionable age of 11. The show came to an end in 2010 when I was 15. I recall watching the show religiously with my cousin and after each episode watching the hilarious MTV After Show with Dan and Jesse. I think this might have been an MTV Canada exclusive, but I'm not sure, so let me know in the comments if it wasn't. Finally, COVID allowed me the time to relive such an iconic era. The main focus of discussion will be the cast, friendship dynamics, most notable relationships, and how The Hills gave us a false image of what our late teen/young adult years would look like. Although I will not be discussing the seasons with Kristen, it should be noted that season 6 had the biggest scandal up until that point, Heidi's surgeries. We must start with our queen bee, Lauren, the main character, if you will. One thing that is apparent after rewatching The Hills is that Lauren was the most level-headed of the bunch. Oddly enough, she seemed the least valley girl. However, she is not the flawless protagonist the show edited her to be. Halfway through the show, I messaged my friend and said, Lauren is a dictator who literally requires everyone to abide by her rulership or else you will be exiled. See Heidi for reference. Her friendship with Lo is an example of how she valued minions rather than friends. Now, I did not pick up on this while I was younger, but this is probably because Lauren is a moon sign Scorpio, and they are very keen on manipulating public perception of themselves. That being said, Lauren grounded the show, and without her, the show lacked substance and felt juvenile. Following her internship at Teen Vogue and eventually with Kelly Cutrone felt relatable and kept the show relevant in pop culture with the various appearances from celebrities. Next, we have Heidi, sociologist's best case study of what Hollywood can do to a small town girl. Despite Heidi being portrayed as weak-minded due to her undying loyalty to Spencer, she was very competent in her job at Bauhaus doing PR. And it was really so sad seeing her being alienated by everyone due to her allegiance to Spencer. This isolation was not good for her self-esteem and it showed. I personally believe this is one of the reasons that led to her drastic change in appearance. But the second time watching this show, I was sympathetic toward Heidi, and seeing that she remained with Spencer, it is somewhat unfair that everyone made her choose him or them. Next, we have Whitney, Audrina, and Brody, great side characters that kept things really fun. Whitney and Audrina were my personal favorites. Whitney was an anti-confrontational confidant who gave Lauren great advice, a great addition to the show to level out all the personalities. It was really fun seeing her in New York in Paris for work. I literally loved those episodes. Life goals. Audrina was the queen of going back to Justin Bobby 100 times, despite him doing the bare minimum. She is truly a pioneer for an entire generation of dumb bitches like moi. She was the OG grunge chic LA girl who knew all the indie bands and attended all the shows. That was kind of me, but like with One Direction. Not nearly as cool. Although Brody is an attractive guy, I didn't really get the hype about him. I do think the addition of the guys made the dynamics more fun. For example, Mexico and Vegas trips, where they literally were so messy and ended up in jail one time. However, Brody kind of seemed bland. Lastly, we have Spencer, the ultimate show villain. Production could not ask for a better character. Bar fights, crystals, rumor starter. Spencer made sure we hated him and it made for great TV. He walked so Scott Disick could run. Need I say more? A millennial icon. I did not realize that the fallout between Lauren and Heidi was the overarching storyline for majority of the seasons. It felt almost silly that Heidi was chasing after Lauren for so long. However, sometimes losing a best friend can be that heartbreaking. To make matters worse, Lauren took all the girls with her. We saw Audrina feel uncomfortable being around Heidi, mainly because of Lauren's judgmental nature. Although the rumor started by Spencer was obviously very hurtful to Lauren, it was unfair that she was so cold in her demeanor whenever the girls wanted to potentially connect with Heidi again. To make matters worse, Heidi never took accountability for Spencer's actions and tried to just sweep everything under the rug. All that being said, it was a very nice touch at the end of season 5, part 1, where Lauren did end up attending Heidi's wedding. It did feel very much produced, but who doesn't love a happy ending? In my mind, Lauren and Brody were a main couple, but rewatching the show, I realized that their relationship didn't go anywhere. It mostly consisted of a few cute dates and some flirting, but otherwise, there was not much there. When it comes to Justin, Bobby, and Audrina, the bar was on the floor. For the longest time, it was on Justin's terms, and they didn't even have a title. As much as I would love to criticize Audrina for putting up with his hot and cold antics, we have all been there, and some of us, let's be real, are still there. So in that aspect, it felt relatable, holding out for a boy who really doesn't deserve us. Last, we have Spidey. I didn't even mean to say that. Spencer and Heidi, who are also referred to as Spidey. How these two are happily married with a son literally defines physics, because they were portrayed as the most problematic couple I had seen up until that point on reality television. Spencer was a textbook emotional manipulator who seemed to cause nothing but destruction in Heidi's life. She lost friends, her relationship with her mom and sister was tumultuous while they were dating, and she had issues with her job because of Spencer. Post-production, they had admitted to playing a character and then somehow getting lost in the lifestyle, but even in all their chaos, they made for great TV. When I was 11 to 15 watching this show, the cast always appeared to be older than what they were. But I think this can be attributed to the lifestyle that they were living. It didn't match what a normal 19-year-old would be doing. They were living in a major city, working unpaid internships, partying every weekend, with boys galore and the occasional Cabo or Vegas trip. Did I mention this was happening while some of them attended college? Despite watching these privileged teens grow up in LA into their young adult years, it was really fun and obviously very entertaining. That being said, as I rewatched the show, I was able to see more of the hand of the producers at work. Regardless, it will still go down as one of the best shows of its time and change the landscape of what reality television looked like. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please comment your favorite The Hills moments. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.